Sam is struggling with the voice. He's going to power through though.
Yes, sir.
He looks resplendent in his checked shirt. And ladies and gentlemen, in 3, 2, 1, here's Sam.
So we all have to pay our taxes, right? No one likes to pay them. Well, whenever a company can't afford to pay off their Superfund sites, it gets directed to the federal funds, which comes directly out of citizens' pockets. So whenever a company can't pay off their Superfund sites, it comes directly out of your guys' pockets. And my issue is that there is a high amount of Superfund sites in Tampa, Florida. My name is Samuel Overhaul, and I'm from the perspective of a Florida Department of Environmental Protection worker, which is kind of like the EPA on just in Florida though. So first we have to discuss the difference between an MPL site and a non-MPL site. Well, the MPL sites are the National Priority List, which is a higher priority site. Usually they have more dangerous chemicals that are more harmful, they're more protective, and they have more focus. Versus non-MPLs, while they're still a problem, they're not as much of a focus for the Environmental Protection Agency. So there's 3 pillars to our issue. We have the medication, gravitation, and justification. Our first pillar is medication, which is people are exposed to Superfund sites have a variety of health risks they're prone to. So children, there's one study done by the Journal of Labor Economics. The children exposed to Superfund sites, and they were twins. One of them, the one that was exposed to Superfund sites, was found to have lower intelligence. So this is obviously an issue because it makes it, it makes it harder for you to have a future. The second one is near heavy metal waste sites. People are more likely to develop several health issues, such as chronic kidney disease, stroke, hypertension, heart disease, skin cancer, and anemia. This is obviously a problem because a lot of these are deadly diseases. And this came from the textbook Science of the Total Environment. Next problem is that people near Superfund sites were found to have higher concentrations of PCB in the air rather than people who live away. This was from this textbook, Environmental Science. How does PCB cause it? It causes you to have several skin issues such as skin cancer, and it can also cause issues in your liver, such as liver failure. And this graph right here is from the University of Texas, but the data came from the Environmental Protection Agency, and it shows the correlation between life expectancy and MPL sites. And if you look right over here, flooded sites were shown to have lower life expectancies. This could be caused by the chemicals being leached out of the soil and stuff from the floods. And if you also look right here, it says MPL sites actually have a higher life expectancy, but this is simply because there's more caution around them. So people have a harder time living near them and such, versus the non-MPL ones. The second pillar to my issue is the gravitation, which is people are moving towards Superfund sites. So among people living in poverty, which is 14.2% of the population, 57.2% of the population was located near Superfund sites. This statistic came from the EPA, which can be trusted because it's a government. Superfund sites have also been shown to reduce property value of houses by 2 to 8%. Now, you may ask, does being an MPL site affect how the percentage value loss of property value? And yes, it does. As you can see before, 2 to 8%. The 2% came from the non-MPL sites, and the 8% came from the LPL. So it does make quite a difference whether or not the site is MPL or not. And right here, this table by the EPA as well shows more statistics towards whether you're a minority in poverty compared to whether you're living within certain distances of Superfund sites. As you can see, not only are people in poverty more likely to live, but extremely disproportionate amounts of minority groups are also located in there as well, which shows not only people that are minorities more likely to live near there, also people who live below poverty and are linguistically isolated and such. So that was the end of my second pillar of the issue. The third one is justification, which is why are companies not paying their dues? Well, first you need to discuss the punishment that the EPA gives to people, the companies, after they create Superfund sites. So the first one is statutory punishment, which is fines for failure to comply with the EPA whenever you create a Superfund site. The second one is stipulated punishment, which is purely punitive. It's meant to just punish the companies. And treble damages is whenever the companies have to go to the EPA for help to pay off the cleanup, and the EPA charges 3 times as much as they took out that they have to pay back. Obviously, this came from the EPA website. So the EPA says that it costs about $25 million on average to clean up a Superfund site, although the statistic does vary widely depending on if it's NPL, non-NPL, and how big it is. Right here by Duke University, obviously from the EPA, it shows federal funds are used when a company can't clean up. This further supports what I was saying earlier, that the government taxes its citizens whenever a company cannot afford to clean up its Superfund sites. Right here, this is a graph that was made by National Geographic. The data came from EPA, and it shows over time the number of NPL Superfund sites that were created and deleted. And as you can see, while they are getting better at deleting them right down here, you can also see that still many of them are being created every year. So that still needs to be fixed. Right here, so that is all 3 pillars of my argument right there. I'll finish. And my solution is the Responsibility Act. So the first thing we have to go over is what is the root of the issue, which is the chemical companies in the first place. They are the ones who are failure to be able to clean them up, which is causing the Superfund sites to remain there, which causes people to gravitate towards them and be exposed to health risks such as that. So my punishment would be on a state level, create more punitive fines. We could achieve this by lobbying the government, the FDEP worker, lobbying the government to create a bill and then passing it. This de-incentivizes dumping waste because they're gonna have to pay extra money. And this has been shown to work in other things just to prevent companies from creating bad products and scamming their customers and such. And one last thing, I want to leave you with this quote. It says, punishable by fine means legal for a price. So basically, it shows that no matter what we do, companies will always do it no matter how much it is, just because they can pay and have it over with. And this is my conclusion.